participants who had no idea that they were going to be on stage tonight. Would you please give a big round of applause for those people who were kind enough? What you just saw is called an opening act. I've been an opening act for many different acts. I've been an opening act for comics like Ray Romano and Howie Mandel. I've been an opening act for bands like Skillet and Jars of Clay and Cyndi Lauper. I've opened for countless speakers. And the guy that you're about to hear next is my personal favorite, so I'm really excited for you. He spoke to over 500,000 people just in the last year, been to over 45 different countries, been to all 50 beautiful states here and even Hawaii. He's one of my favorite speakers. Boy, I'm excited for you. Now you get a chance to hear him yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome internationally known speaker and author, Dr. Bob Lentz.
How about one more round of applause for AJ? Come on, give it up. Hey, parent challenge, I just want you to know what you have in AJ here tonight. AJ can perform for 15 minutes for professional business people and get $5,000 to $10,000 for that. He's not getting that paid for the whole week with me. Sorry, dude. He is here because he believes in family. Give it an up again for AJ. He performed in Japan, Finland, all over the world. He was in the world's greatest magic show in Vegas, #1 strip on the strip. Whoops, that was not funny. The #1 show on the strip, family show. This guy is all over. So I hope you know, and I want you to know this: Dignity Revolution. There's a green envelope on the back. If you want him to come to your school, AJ can do elementary school. I do like middle and high school with him, but elementary school, kindergarten, he took the message I have and blended it for a full message for them. So if you want him to come to your school, pick some stuff up in the back. If I right now, though, would come up to you and say, in front of everybody, just stand up and share your most embarrassing moment. She's like, you don't have to. I'll share. She's like, I'll share one of my favorite ones. This one came when I was in Santa Maria, California. This guy and girl were on a date. They went to a movie. Parents, don't worry. It was a good movie. Rated G. Bambi, Part 3. That's a good flick. Can you imagine if the producers of Jason or Freddy would have got a hold of a good movie like Bambi? It'd be like this: Bambi, Part 3. Bambi kills Thumper. Okay. So pick out movies that go along with your family and their values. They're sitting there, their first date, they're kind of nervous. I don't know what it is about our anatomy, but when we get nervous, we need to go to the restroom. But he was a real gentleman, so he looked there and said, excuse me, I need to go to the restroom. By the way, that word gentleman seems to be disappearing in America today, right? The only time I see the word gentleman is on a restroom door. Oh, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of wimps in society who won't stand up for what they believe is right. And even in 2025, there's still a lot of macho guys who don't think it's manly to show an emotion or a tear or an embrace. But there's not a lot of gentle, compassionate, sensitive men who are gentle enough to be strong and strong enough to be gentle. And yet every time I say that, there's girls' eyes in the audience that are like, where is he? But he was a gentleman, went to the restroom, no problem, came back, sat down. But when he sat down, he realized his fly was open. Well, what do you do when your fly? You can't just zip it up sitting in a theater seat. He didn't want to stand up and say, excuse me for a minute. He said, I know what I'll do. I'll ask her if she wants some popcorn or some soda. If she says yes, I'll just put my hand on my zipper, stand up, zip it up, walk away, no problem. So he's like, would you like some popcorn or some soda? She says, sure. So he puts his hand on his zipper, stands up, zips it up, starts walking. All of a sudden, the girl in front of him, her hair was stuck in his zipper. Guys, you ever get something stuck in your zipper? You can't go, I'm sorry, here's your hair back. He's trying to get it loose. What could the girl do? She can't walk out like this. True story, the usher heard the commotion. The usher turned on the lights, turned off the movie, and in front of a packed theater got a pair of scissors and cut her hair from his zipper. When it was done, the whole theater stood up and gave him a standing ovation. I can't imagine that embarrassment. I've collected these for 30, 40 years. So afterwards, I'd love to hear your friend's most embarrassing moment. Come and tell me. One of the places I get them is I used to do just one assembly program in a day. Like today, we did a middle school already today. And then, but when we used to do one, because we had to come here tonight, otherwise we would stay and train the peer facilitators, peer helpers. Here's why. 90% of students, if they're having a hard time in life, maybe because mom and dad have split up or they're dealing with anxiety or depression or maybe cutting, 90% turn to a friend first. So we train friends on how to help a friend and where to turn for referrals and help. But to break the ice, we'll just have 10 people in a circle and everybody will go around and share an embarrassing moment. And we'll sit and laugh and have a good time, but afterwards, when the group is broken up and there's just one person left, I'll say something like this. Now that everybody's gone, is there maybe another most embarrassing moment that you want to share with the whole group? And they're like, I'm like, come on, I'll put it in my next book. And they're like, I'm like, why not? And almost every single time they'll say something like this. Because Bob, for me, it's not a most embarrassing moment, but I'm embarrassed about who I am as a person. At that time, there's usually a tear that comes down their face. And if not, if they hide their feelings and emotions and wear those masks, like sometimes you and I do, if you have the eyes that have been trained through love to penetrate that mask and see the heart, there's still a tear that comes from the heart. And I started realizing how many people weren't living life to the fullest, how many people didn't even know they had any dignity. And I thought, what's the difference? What makes something the most embarrassing moment for one person and the next person's embarrassed about who they are as a person? I think I found the element, right? It's the element of choice. See, all of us have the most embarrassing moment. Even if it's just walking in school down the hall, you trip and your books go flying. If you've ever done this, you know what I'm talking about. You trip, your books go flying, your hands come out to catch you, you hit the ground, the first thing you do is what? Look around to see if anybody saw you. And if somebody saw you, just kind of go. You feel like a dork, you walk away, that's an embarrassing moment. But that same person trips, books go flying, your hands come out to catch you. You look around to see who saw, and then you look back, and you see a group of students staring and pointing and laughing, and one person has their legs stuck out, and they did it intentionally, on purpose. Please hear me, when you use your choices to hurt, humiliate, make fun of, put down, harass, degrade, or bully another human being, people become embarrassed about who they are as a person. There's a wrong philosophy in society that goes something like this. You want to feel good about yourself? Make fun of others, put them down, make yourself feel better. It doesn't work in the long run, but so many people use it. Even my own school, our high school football team, 4 years in a row without losing a game till the final playoff game. I started. Felt pretty good about that. But one guy in our team, he wasn't that good. I'm not making fun of him. It's just not where his gifts and talents were. His name was Jack. Still is. Jack wasn't good at football. I don't know how to say this politically correct, but in my small town, if you're a guy and you had any size, you played football. If not, you were labeled and called names. So he wanted to be a part of the team so bad, he came out early, stayed late, just to make the team. He made the team because coach never cut anybody. But you think us starters made him feel accepted? I wish I could say yes. Instead, they made fun of him, they laughed at him, they used him as a blocking dummy. They had a lot of fun at his expense. One day I'm in the middle of the field and I was taking a drink of water. I'll make believe I have water. Can somebody get me water? Here you go. Yeah. Dude, You're awesome. Okay. Now, I will demonstrate. I'll demonstrate one more time. And somebody said, hey, Bob, look at Jack. So I looked. Some of the other starters had taken Jack and hung him by the fence post, by his jockstrap. Oh, I wish you could see the three looks on your faces. Some of you guys automatically went, ow. But then there was some compassion. Parents, did you hear the compassion? And it wasn't just the girls. Some people actually went, oh. But there was a lot of you, even here at a parent's challenge, you're going like this. You're like, I want to laugh, but I don't think I'm supposed to. I hate to admit as a speaker, that's what I did. Dude, I looked, his legs and his arms are dangling from the fence. And I start laughing big time with the whole group until I had to walk by him to get into the locker room. So I was laughing with everybody else until I got close. And I looked up and I saw how embarrassed he was. And I saw the tears coming down. I thought, Jack didn't deserve that. Jack never did anything to hurt our team. He would have done anything just to fit in, just to belong. You know what the experts tell us that the number one reason people join gangs today? For a sense of belonging, family, team. You might think it's sad. Some gangs after initiation would have treated him better than our football team and our school treated him. But I shared that at a school a few years ago. A student came up to me and said, Bob, you got to finish that story. I said, what do you mean? They said, you got to talk about how he helped him down and became his friend. I said, I can't do that. He's like, why not? I said, because all of my stories are true. And I don't want to admit it to you, but I didn't help him. You know what I did? When I saw the tears, I turned my head the other way. I looked down and I walked by into the locker room. Just for the record, I think I was just as guilty as the people who put him up there. Why? Because I didn't tell anybody. I wasn't an upstander, right? I didn't help him. I didn't tell anybody. But why didn't I help him? Who did I say put him up there? Some of the other starters. That's right. The guys I want to be in with. See, even if you don't like our program tonight, I don't know how you can't like AJ, but even if you don't like my program, you got to know I'm honest. I know what kind of guy that I am. When I walk into the room, I know girls don't go, wow, look at that. Usually when I walk in the room, girls go, wow, what is that? Well, you didn't have to laugh that loud. But because I didn't like who I was, that was my excuse for not doing what I knew was right. Please hear me. Even though I'm a speaker, I didn't come here to tell you what to do or not to do. I'm here to say, do what you believe is right. I believe it's written on your heart. Why didn't I help him? I didn't like me. I was insecure. See, I want to be like my friend Ronnie. See, Ronnie was good looking. If Ronnie walked into here, a lot of the girls would go, hey, Ronnie. I walked in the room, girls go, hey, Bob. But Ronnie was good looking. He was 5'10", dark hair, dark skin, and he was built. That's not on my resume. I never got one job because of my looks. But not only was Ronnie good looking, he was athletic. He could take 2 steps and do a flip. I can take 100 steps and I can't do a flip. I can roll a little bit. But Ronnie was good looking. He was athletic plus. He was one of those guys I had a hard time with in school. Teachers here today, anybody? Right, teachers, you may not believe this by listening to me, but I did really good in school, except for grades. But I found out grades are important. When you get your driver's license, you get a B, honor roll, or better, your insurance is lower. So my dad said to me, Bob, you don't get a B, you don't get insurance. You don't get insurance, you don't get the car. So I looked at my dad with respect, because he's my dad. And I said, I'll buy my own car. Don't say that. He said, are you deaf? No B, no insurance, no insurance, no. I said, I buy my own insurance. He said, are you deaf? No B, no insurance, no. So one semester I gave it 110%. I took books home and I studied. I studied in study hall. There's an idea. But when I gave it 110%, teachers, you know this is true. My best, I just made a B minus. Ronnie never took books home, never studied in study hall, and still got A's and A pluses. I don't know if you're like me at all, but a lot of nights I lay in bed at night and I just scream to the sky and go, it's not. Oh, I'm not the only one who ever thought that, huh? He's good looking, he's athletic, he's intelligent. Plus, his parents had money. Money. I thought if I had one of those four things, I could feel good about myself and help him down from the fence. But please hear me tonight. You wait till you have everything society says to do what's right. You'll never live life to the fullest. We'll never have a dignity revolution. But you also have to know this. Even if you're one of the, quote, lucky ones, you have everything Hollywood says, doesn't guarantee you a good life without good choices. I found that out a couple years ago. I came home from a talk like this. By the time my team drove me home, it was 10:30 at night. My brother Bill was there. He's 6 years older than I am. He doesn't come over at 10:30 just to say hi, so I thought something was wrong. I said, Bill, what's up? He said, Bob, it's Ronnie. I'm like, is he okay? He said, Bob, Ronnie's dead. I can't find a talk, parents, that'll take away all the problems. I can't find a talk that'll take away all the pain inside. And I can't find a talk that'll take away all your past. But you have to know this tonight. You don't have to let your problems, your pain, or your past take away your choices. You still have a choice, and your choices will dictate your future. But nothing got me ready for what he said next. Because I said, how'd he die? He said, Bob, Ronnie went out and he got drunk. Because of age, I'll just say it this way, he threw his life away. They didn't show his body at the funeral, but his parents asked if I'd give the eulogy. And they asked if I'd go see the body beforehand. I walked in with his mom and dad on one side and his girlfriend Heather, Wickman's Funeral Home, 30 minutes from Lambeau Field for the Packers. And in came Ronnie, now with 2 steps and a flip, but on a cold metal cart and a blue body bag. And they unzipped and here my friend laid, never to laugh again, never to flip again. 2 things hit me really hard. If Ronnie couldn't live life to the fullest, what chance did Bob have? And why didn't he know he was valuable? He was good looking, athletic, intelligent. His parents had money. But I found out there's a lot of reasons people have problems today, from chemical imbalances to circumstances. Can I just say something real quick about chemical imbalance? I have a little cold tonight. And don't worry, I'm not infectious. I checked. But I'm not embarrassed like, I have a runny nose. I'm a bad person. But why, when we struggle with anxiety or depression or whatever it might be, panic attacks, we're afraid to talk about it because we might be called crazy. It's okay to talk. But I think I found out Ronnie's. His mom started telling me when Ronnie was a child, if he did anything wrong, she would hit him. Not spank him or discipline him, hit him. No one ever deserves to be hit. He was 3 years old, he spilled the milk. She went to backhand him across the face, but because he'd already been hit, he put his elbow up to protect himself. She lost it and started hitting and kicking and slugging her 3-year-old little child, took him and threw him against the wall. By the time she regained control of the anger, he was so black and blue and bloody, they kept him in the house for a month so that nobody saw him, report him to the police. He was treated like garbage, so guess what he thought he was? Garbage. When he was 7, there was a problem in the neighborhood. Police officer came over. Ronnie and his 2 sisters were standing there. Police officer looked at the mom and said, are those your kids? Said, those are my 2 girls. I don't know who that animal belongs to. Said Ronnie just started to cry. If this is what she told me, can you imagine what it was really like? But Ronnie never talked about it. You know what a family secret is? Just keep it piled up inside till it explodes. Let me just tell you this. If you know anyone who's been abused in any way, give them permission to break that silence. If you've been hurt in any way, I give you permission. It's not 80% of people who've been abused think it's their fault. You don't deserve it. But he started to fight back when he became a teenager. She went to hit him and he grabbed her arm and said, Mom, stop. She came with the other one. He grabbed and said, that's enough. But she said, I went so ballistic. She went down and bit him on the wrist and it went down to his bone. And he had to get stitches. Can you imagine? His own mom bit him. But I still can't okay what Ronnie did. Why? This year, like AJ said, I'll speak to 500,000 people. He's not the only one that come from a perfect family. You come even from a decent home. Do me a favor. Go to your mom and dad and say thank you. Guys, I'm just singling out. But guys, if you got a chance to live with your dad, go to your dad today. Give him a hug. Kiss in the cheek. Tell him you love him. Thanks for being your dad. Oh, you'll freak out. He's like, you asking for money again? But if you have an adult, a teacher, a counselor, a coach, a pastor, anyone you know cares, tell them thanks. But if you really think nobody cares, I think sometimes, I don't have a lot of time, but sometimes pain goes like this and just makes a tunnel. And so there could be people that care, and you might not know it. Make sure you wait till the pain is gone so you can see him. But even if nobody cared, I want to prove. The way I got to prove this, I need a $5 bill. Okay? This is how I make a living. No. Somebody got a 5? Dude? Well, look. What do you got? A 10? Dude, thanks. That just goes to prove one thing. You don't need to steal. Just ask. Just what's your name? Cyrus. I'm just kidding. This is his $10 bill. How much is this worth? All right. But what if I verbally abuse it? You good for nothing $10 bill? I wish you're never even printed. You'll never be as good as your older brother. The 20. How much is it worth now? All right. So even though it's been verbally abused, it hasn't lost its. But what if I physically abuse it? What if I go, take that, Hamilton. Nice scarf. You wearing a wig? How much is it worth now? So it's been physically and verbally abused, but it hasn't lost its. What if the parents get divorced and it becomes a latchkey kid, spends all its time at home, lonely and neglected? Not even whatever, Call of Duty will play with it. How much is it worth now? So even though it's been abandoned and neglected, it hasn't lost its. Okay, I love our country. I've been in 45 countries. I've spoken in 45. I know we're not perfect, but I still love our country. But I'm doing this just for an example, so please understand why. How much is it worth now? You may not want to touch it. But it hasn't lost its. Okay, but what if I took, there's $5, $10, whoops, bill, and let me go over here. What if I ripped it in half? Hey, don't look at him, I'm giving the talk. You're like, you're gonna be in trouble. No, I called a police officer. He told me it's a federal offense. But if I put it back together, it hasn't lost its. Oh shoot, let me try one more time. $250? Dude, you just wait, that's advanced math. All right. Somebody said, wait, Bob, I thought this was anti-bullying. Wasn't that bullying? Can I just say something? We can have some fun. Not everything is bullying, right? But is there bullying? Yes. Bullying is when you hurt somebody with words or actions. They ask you to stop and you continue. But you know what? Let's stop being offended so easily and love each other. Okay, but watch. Even if I ripped it into 8, it hasn't lost its. Okay, I did this once and I lost a chunk. I went back to the bank and I'm like, They gave me a brand new one. They said this, don't miss this, guys. as long as it had the identification number on it, it hasn't lost its. No matter your situation, you are so much more than a number. You're a human being. And our Constitution says there's liberty and justice for all. Not just the white, not just the male, not just the rich, not just the athletic, but for all. But you know what bugs me? I rip up a 10 and some of you are freaked out. You should. Inflation. But we think nothing of ripping on others or ourselves. I don't think that somebody should rip up somebody else's $10 bill. So I have a brand new. I was going to give you a 10 for your 5. You come in my back table, I'll give you a shirt or another 10. Come here. Give him a round of applause. Oh, look it. AJ listens, 20. Give him a round of applause. Somebody, last time AJ and I were here, we did it with a 5. And I gave the guy a 10 back. And somebody came and said, why'd you give him a 10? I'm like, because it's a great example, but it's never okay to hurt somebody or their property. They said, rip up my 10. They get it. So here it is. We can have a dignity revolution. We can live life to the fullest by holding on to 3 core beliefs. Number 1, no matter what has happened to you, just like that $5 bill, you have not lost your. Number 2, real quick, courage. My friend, I'm going to talk fast because none of you got your food fast. No kidding. Sorry. No, courage. My friend Tom Dorn has a dog. He lets his dog out every day. When he did, there was a rabbit in the yard. What's the dog do when it sees a rabbit? He says, arr, arr. Tom's like, it's going to be the dog's lunch. He said, we were sitting, the rabbit just sat there. It's going to be a quick lunch. Drive-through. He said, but finally the rabbit took off. But instead of running away from the dog, ran straight towards the dog. He said the dog freaked out. Dog never saw this before. All the dog ever saw is I bark, run, rabbit, run, whitetail, bite, crunch, eat. He said finally, he's coming. The dog finally puts on his brakes, turns around. The rabbit starts chasing the dog around the yard. Finally, the dog put its tail between its legs, went back by the porch, and scratched to get in. Tom's like, good watchdog. He said, I looked outside, and there sat that rabbit acting tough. My question for you tonight is this. How does a rabbit act tough? That felt really dumb. He said, I had to find out why the rabbit had so much courage. He went outside and went, rah, just sat there. He was like, rah, rah, just sat there. Now, I'm not going to try to get you to believe that that rabbit chased Tom, because that didn't happen. And all my stories are true, but can I tell you what really happened? He's trying to figure out why that rabbit won't run. All of a sudden, he looked and he saw why. Behind the rabbit were some bushes. And beneath the bushes were 5 little bunnies. Aww. Why didn't it run? The little one's behind. Please hear me. My wife and I have 5 kids. 4 are married. We have 14 grandkids. We're trying to tell them they don't need drugs. They don't need alcohol. They don't need the gangs. They don't need to bully. They don't need to do the crap stuff on social media. There's good stuff there too. And he goes, why? I can't convince them. They're watching you. The kindergarten, first, second graders, they're watching you. Not just when you're on a stage, but when you're on a court, a field, a diamond, a track, a mat, in a pool. They're watching you on Friday, Saturday night, say, what do you got to do to have fun in this town? They're watching you on social media. Are you going to use it to build up or tear down? They're watching how you go through hard times. Are you going to just give up and become bitter and angry? Or are you going to team up with others and say, resilience, or not giving up? Courage doesn't mean you don't have any fears. Courage means you face your fears for a greater purpose. What is that? That next generation behind us. You're all leaders. So one more, we got to go. Here we go. You can live life to the fullest, have a dignity revolution by holding on to 3 core beliefs. Number 1, no matter what has happened, just like this $10 bill, you have not lost your. Number 2, just like that rabbit, we need to have and do what is right because of the little ones behind you. Be a hero generation. Number 3, respect. I'll go quickly with my last story. When I was in first grade, I had a speech impediment. I couldn't pronounce my S's or my R's, so it would have been a wabbit. I had to get marched out of the normal class to go to the special ed class. Teachers, thanks for trying, but it didn't make me feel special. And my name wasn't Ed. Okay, sorry. And I got marched out, but to make it harder, my little brother was totally handicapped. He had cerebral palsy and he never took a full step. He had braces on his legs. He had severe mental retardation, never said a full sentence. So my brother couldn't walk or talk. Then half his body started to grow and half it stopped. And then scoliosis and curvature of the spine set in, took his crippled body and put him in a ball. He couldn't even set up in a wheelchair unless he had a special body brace with Velcro straps to hold him up. And if that wasn't enough hardship for one person, he had epilepsy. His whole body would stiffen out and shake. You'd have to wipe the drool that came from his mouth. And teachers, tell me a better way to say this, because I know we're trying to eliminate this word. But I got to tell you what they said. Every time I got marched out, somebody would go, there goes Bob. He's retarded just like his brother. And everybody would laugh. Even me, because there's an old proverb that says, even in laughter, the heart can be in pain. But at night, I'd cry myself to sleep. Now, please hear me. I didn't come all the way from Wisconsin for your pity. I hate pity. Because pity means somebody thinks they're better than you and their noses are up in the air even though they're looking down on you. But do you think I wanted a speech impediment? Do you think I wanted my brother to be handicapped? But the hardest choice you'll ever have is after somebody disrespects you. Will you lower yourself to their level or will you rise above it? Dr. Martin Luther King said, darkness can't cast out darkness. Only light can do that. And hatred can't cast out hatred. Only love can do it. But that's hard. I had to take my brother for walks when I was in school. But I didn't like who I was. And I knew people would stare and point and laugh because he was different. So I'd push my brother on certain blocks where nobody would see me. And I'm still embarrassed that I did that, but I wish I could have Tim here tonight. And he'd be in his wheelchair, and he'd make noises, and I'd probably have to wipe the drool. But I wish he was here and I could say, this is my brother Tim, and I love him. This is my brother Tim, and I'm proud of him. This is my brother Tim, and he's a person too. And because of that, he deserves respect just like anybody else. If you agree with that, would you give that statement a round of applause right now? But I can't do that because my brother Tim has passed away. I've been doing this for 40 years. People are like, Bob, why are you still speaking to junior high kids? I'm like, the money is awesome. I'm a part of a nonprofit. I don't get paid anymore for how many talks. Then why? Because if my brother Tim deserves respect, then so does every person that's in this room. I don't care how short you are, how tall you are. I don't care how skinny you are, how wide you are. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care how much money you have or you don't have. I don't care your gender. I don't care your choices. This nation, like never before, needs respect and dignity. You can disagree with somebody and still respect them because every person has dignity. So my time's up. Let's go through it one more time. On the way, what I'd like you to do, we have a slide here. I want to have a dignity revolution. I want you to take the pledge to stand up for the value of every person. And if you take out your phones, please, and let me tell you this. We just had our highest number of a group take the pledge after a talk. I want to beat it tonight. Parent challenge. Parents can take it. Students can take it. You can take it when you get home together, all right? But grab that, and if not, there's a pledge card on the way out. I pledge to be kind, right? Be kind, to be loving, to be peaceful, to be patient. Grab one. We can have a dignity revolution by holding on to 3 core beliefs. Number 1, no matter what has happened to you, just like that $10 bill, you have not lost your. Number 2, just like that rabbit, we need to have. And number 3, my handicapped brother Tim and everybody else deserves. This is for the old people like me in the room. The word value starts with what? The word courage starts with what? The word respect starts with what? You put it together, you get a, okay, some things should go extinct, like VCRs, racism, sexism, apartheid, abuse, addiction. Some things should last forever. Value, courage, respect. I want to give this book to Deborah, and I want to say thank you for all her and her staff do for the Parent Challenge. These will be available back there. You don't have to worry about buying anything tonight. The money just goes to feed my 14 grandkids. Actually, my wife came to me and said, Bob, let's not take one penny. Let's put it all back into doing school assembly programs. So anything you buy tonight will go back into a fund coming back to Colorado Springs area to do schools, whether that's public schools, Christian schools, Catholic schools, Lutheran schools, homeschool. We'll come and do a co-op. Whatever it is, charter school will be there for you. Deborah, thank you for what you're doing. VCR.
Appreciate you.
God bless you. Bless you. Thanks.
He left his $10 up here. I'm going to tape it back together because it has value, right? Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope that you learned something, picked up something. That pledge that was up on the screen, make sure you get that pledge. Say it to yourselves, say it to each other. And I think when we talked about this session back in August, we said, make sure you, kids, hug your parents. Parents, hug your kids. There's so much bad and evil that's going on all around us. Think about all the good that's there as well. Let's not say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. You don't know. So do it now. So thanks for being here. We've got some door prizes that we want to give out before you leave today. And on your tables also, that little green sheet saying Caring Together, that is from Alpine Bank. And they provide money to students getting A's and so forth in school. So I would just encourage you to set up and look at establishing a bank account with Alpine and see your account flourish because of that. So those who turned in their journals on time, remember you had till the 20th to get it in, and you would be able to win a $250 Shields gift card. So you don't have to be here to win, but those who did, your name is in the buckets. Oops, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure people think I mixed them up good. They're mixed, okay. All right, so our winner tonight Hannah Trevin Chapman. Are they here? Huh? Come on down. Congratulations. So getting your stuff in on time does pay. So they get a $250 gift card. Shields. All right. So we have a couple of gift cards. You guys know I like to do puzzles, and last time I gave this puzzle away because I had already completed it, and they sent me another one. I'm not going to do it again. So we're going to give this puzzle away today.
Pull out your tickets.
Blue tickets. Going to do the last four numbers, 8235. 8235. Okay. And now we're going to do a Chick-fil-A gift card. We've got 5 of them. 8250. 8250.
All right.
8335. 83-35. 83-35. Boy, this side of the room is doing well. 83-35. Okay. 83-40. 83-40. No 83-40? Okay. All right, I'll come on this side. Maybe you'll win if I walk over on this side. Okay. 83-21. No? 83-21. Okay. Okay, you move to that side. 82-73. I know people are like, what? That's why I don't pay the lottery. These are free. Oh. 82-80. Woo! Okay, who likes to play pickleball? Oh, so I got a pickleball set right here. So my husband sells pickleball stuff. 82-77. Okay, so you got a pickleball set and a visor. Okay, how many more? Two. All right, here we go. 82-71. All right, we got one more. How many of you are coming on Saturday? Woo! Okay. We're going to do some fun stuff on Saturday. So you got to come to find out what that is. Well, we got some laptops and tablets and all kind of stuff. 82-58. All right. So please make sure that you go back and visit Bob's table. Also focus on the family. Let's give folks on the family a big round of applause for allowing us to utilize their space. We really appreciate it. Steve Shuck is here, founder. Him and his wife co-founded Parents Challenge. So 25 years, Steve. Thank you very much. Okay. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for partnering with Parents Challenge. Thank you for being here tonight. Drive safely, and we will see you on Saturday or at the next session that you attend. Have a great evening.